Hi guys, just wanted to do you an explanation about network access methods. The two you need to discuss in your work are CSMA and token passing. I've sort of mentioned token passing during lessons as we've spoken about different topologies, different network structures. We've sort of mentioned and looked at token passing because it sort of lends itself to certain situations such as ring networks and bus networks. But there is another option, CSMA, and CSMA comes in two forms. Just do it as a general because they both work in extremely similar ways, so you don't have to discuss them separately. If you do some research online, you will find the two different ones, but it's just two different names really for the same method. So token passing, as I mentioned in lesson, is basically on a network. It doesn't matter the style of network. It doesn't matter. As you can see, I've got a bus network here in front of us, but if you had a ring network or a star network, it'd work exactly the same. And it's as I mentioned in lesson. Each computer waits its turn. It waits for the token to be passed to it. In that instance, it can then speak on the network, basically using the wire or the hubs or the routers or whatever equipment it's got, but broadcasting onto that wire. It knows it will be the only computer allowed. And it's as simple as that for token passing. However, CSMA is a little bit different. It means CSMA means that every computer can speak on the network, or they can at least try and speak on the network. So you can, as you can see, obviously we've got 5 computers or 5 devices, I should say, including a printer, on this network. Now, with token passing, let's say the first computer, this computer right here, he wants to talk. If he's got the token, then it's him talking. He'll be talking to whichever computer he needs to talk to. It depends, on what he's talking about. Or he could be doing a broadcast to multiple computers. CSMA, however, means that either of these computers could try and transmit. What they'll do is, let's say this one sort of got there first, and it would be there first, and the other two, if they needed to speak around the same time, they would try and sense what's happening on the actual network. If they sense that data is in transit, then they'll wait, okay, and then they'll try again. They'll keep sensing until it's empty, and then try again. The problem with this is, you may get some that they all sense at the same time. They all notice that the network's empty at the same time. So then what they'll do is they'll all try and transmit at the same time. We get what's called a data collision. Something you don't really get on a token passing network, because there was no data collision because only one computer is allowed to talk. So as soon as they all try and transmit at the same time, they'll get a collide or a collision. The data will be lost, it'll be trashed basically because it becomes a mess because everyone's trying to speak at the same time. The message is never received, the computers realise that, and what they'll do is a little bit of maths to do, kind of like a random number generation, just to give themselves a little bit of a split time difference. So this one generates a random slight different time than this one, and this one will generate. Whichever one gets there first, so whichever time's shortest, they'll transmit first, and the others will then sense and see that, say, the first one might be talking. So the problem with CSMA is that every computer, potentially, it's the more computers you have on a network, 5, 6, 7, 8, thousands, there's more chance of those collisions happening because there's more traffic that's liable to happen. With token passing, however, obviously that has its downsides, that only one computer will wait for the token and no one tries to jump in time. There's no sensing going on, it's just you have the token now and you can speak. So each has their own benefits, and it's just a different technology on how to sense whether there's information on a network or when to transmit data on a network. So, just to summarise, token passing, each one waits for the token, the key that you can speak, and it then transmits to the network. CSMA means anyone can try and talk to the network. If two try at the exact same time, a data collision could happen, and then it will wait a certain amount of time before transmitting it again. This certain amount of time does have a name, by the way. It's called backing off. So this one might wait 0.1 seconds, and this one might wait 0.2. If they both somehow select 0.2, then they'll try again and hopefully select a different number. The odds of them selecting the same number 2 or 3 times would be very minimal, and as a user, we wouldn't notice because it'd be a matter of milliseconds. I hope this has cleared things up for you. If you've got any questions, speak to me in class. Thanks.